man. So, initially, when we got this set up to talk, I kind of wanted to ease our way more into talking about your book. But, then I read the first chapter and, it, to my surprise, started with being about your first MMA fight. And, as a big MMA guy myself, that's kind of the first thing I want to touch on. That first fight was 10 years ago, which I'm sure feels weird to think about it being that long ago. And, just reading that chapter, I got the sense of how unique of an experience it was, as surely it is for everyone. But, my question is, and maybe you talk about this in chapter 2, but I haven't got that far yet. But your second fight was years later in 2017. How different was your experience the second time, and what made you get back in the cage?
Well, it was a little bit of an accident, the first one. It was, I was training and I had befriended the pros at Team Quest, and so I got a little bit by the bug, and I think a few people were like, you should have a fight. And I was like, I should, huh? And I don't really, looking back at it, I don't think it was the greatest idea. I did not have that much knowledge of the game, but I just wanted the test. It sounded so terrifying to me. And I was retiring from being a pro skateboarder. That seemed like such a challenge that it kind of filled the gap of not being the skateboarder guy that I thought I was my whole life.
Mm.
So, I was very fortunate. I had Ryan Parsons and King Mo Lawal and Jason Mayhem Miller in my corner. I was the most spoiled.
Legit guys. Yeah.
I had no amateur fights, just one pro fight. Like it was. I think I was in shock for pretty much the first round, and then I was able to pull that win out. But it was just one of those. It was almost like a make a wish thing, It was like they just gave this dude this opportunity that. Now doing it and going to the commission and having to get my license and seeing what it really takes and people doing it all, a couple of times a year, not just one time. And it's trying to make it their job.
Yeah.
That made me just respect it so much more. And then I just got into boxing more after that. And then full circle, I just accidentally got into jiu-jitsu again and went to Saxon's and did Muay Thai for a couple of years, and then some of my friends were like, for your age, you're not that bad. Like, you should try. And I thought, this time I feel like I have enough knowledge to at least know how I won or how I lost, and it was time. I really I didn't know how far this was going to go. I actually thought when I signed to King of the Cage, I kind of planned on having maybe 3 or 4 fights.
Yeah.
And then, they gave me guys like tape. Once again, freaking royal treatment. Like, they're giving me tape on guys. Like, what about these 2 guys? And I'm like, these 2 guys can't fight. He's like, I know, it'll be a highlight reel. And I'm like, I'm not here to do that, dude.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I just want to, I want my coach to go, if you win this, that's a real achievement to you. And I was like, then that's a good fight for me. He's like, this is a really tough fight. So I picked the guy where my coach was like, if you fucking win this, dude, you should be proud of yourself. And then it went horribly wrong, and I still managed to win. And because I think it went so bad and I managed to still keep going, then the need to do it again really died off, because I just wanted to know if I could handle it. If I got in real trouble, would I shell up or will I keep trying? I don't need to be tested any more than I got tested that night. That was pretty close to being knocked out in my mind.
Hey, it happens, man. You're kind of the opposite of CM Punk. I just thought of that.
I actually wanted to fight him, and he. You know what? There was a time there where I was talking shit because I was like, "Man, you just get in the UFC because you're famous," but. And everyone else can talk shit, but if you got offered the deal, you'd either wouldn't do it because you know you're going to die, or you do it because you're a madman. Because you are. I feel like him and I are pretty level. We're not good, but he fought Mickey Gall. I didn't fight. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Did that ever get like Was that pretty close, or just like something you were aiming for?
The closest I got was Duke Rufus did call me and he wanted to talk about it. And I was like, oh my God. But I don't think Dana's a huge fan of me for like the Ellismania fighting Uriah Fabers and things like that. I think he's like, I don't think he likes the comedy side of MMA or people making MMA a joke.
Yeah.
But he's always been nice to me, but I always think I'm trying to do something serious here and you're always making fun of everything.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah, and you mentioned doing boxing some more, at least at your Ellismania events, and I saw a recent knockout you got on your Instagram. Was that the last event or whatever?
Yeah.
But and it sounds like MMA was kind of a random thing for you. But are you planning to maybe try and do a third one at some point, or are you just looking at like just boxing for fun right now?
I mean, for me, it's I'm 48. I'd have to. I mean, if it's right, if it was something that I was like, whoa, I don't know, could I beat that guy? Or everyone would be like, oh, if you take this fight, this is going to be the funniest shit ever. And I'm like, well, then I got to do it. I'll cut the weight. I'll do the camp. But to me, I got a radio show, kids, my wife, and podcasts, and freaking, just doing that when you're 48, it's not, everybody has to pay for it. Everybody around me has to deal with this dickhead that's cutting weight and sore and nervous and doing, and I'm a boss of like, it's a lot. So it would have to make a lot of sense to me at this point. But a boxing fight is not out of the question. I love boxing. I can't stop.
Yeah, I hear you. That's funny that you mentioned that, though, about like it affecting everyone around you, because in that first chapter of your book, it kind of sounded like that was really a big part of that first experience for you, with your wife who was pregnant at the time, and how you couldn't go out and like celebrate exactly how you wanted to and everything. Right. So, I mean, yeah.
Well, that was different too, because that was the first time I ever cut weight, and I was with a boxing trainer, and he was like, "You're not cutting weight, you're dieting." And I was like, he's like, "You don't have a wrestling background. You won't. If you cut weight, you'll be destroyed the next day." So I agreed to it, and it was a really hardcore, not Dolce diet. It was, I was starving, man. And it was like, because I'd made weight the next time, like almost 10 years later, and it was so easy. I'm like, fuck, man, why didn't I do it like this?
That's how you learn.
Yeah.
And speaking of boxing still a bit, you once boxed a one-handed Shane Carwin, and just let me say, Shane is one of my all-time favorites, so that's always something I'll be in amazement about. You're kind of insane for that, man. This is a dumb question.
That's the entertainment factor, man. It's like, people are like, what? You're gonna what? And I'm like, well, that'd be crazy, right? And everyone's like, that would be fucking crazy. I'm like, well, then I'm doing it. I only regretted it once I got in the ring. All the other time, all the rest of it just seemed like a great idea.
Of course. I'm assuming he hits as hard as everyone says he does.
It's stupid. I walked into a jab and thought no big deal, and I was on my butt. I'm like, oh man,
it's insane.
And he wasn't playing. That was the other thing. As soon as we got in there, he was deadly serious. It was so lame. We were friends. We're friends. We went to dinner the night before. Like, we play around with each other. And then when we got in, I went up to him like, hey, and he was dead serious. And I'm like, wait, we're not fucking around? Not at all. I'm like, come on, man. Like, look at you.
Yeah. That's amazing. All right. Before we shift off the MMA topic a bit here, though, I just got to ask, who are some of your favorites to watch as a fight fan?
I mean, I like Conor. Not so much talking, but I like his style. I love his hands and the footwork. I used to like Rashad. I love people that have boxing and can apply the boxing the most in their MMA. I like Chuck, and I respect all the legends, really. But Mark Hunt, I used to love watching that guy.
Yeah.
I like dudes that are good with their hands. But, all these days it's just, I like Whitaker. I did not like that. I like the style bender, but I once again, I get it. You're really, really good, but you could keep it to yourself just a little bit. It wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Gotta do what they gotta do.
What's that?
Got to do what they got to do, right?
Look, I've been there. When I was a skateboarder, when radio got big, I was spracking off all over the place. I get it. It's just, in the end, when you get a little older, you'll get it. You can still think your shit hot. You just don't need to tell everybody the exact reasons why you're so shit hot. It's like it's a lonely road when you talk like that. Nobody can, it's like, hell yeah, man. And as long as you keep backing it up. But it's, when you're not in the ring, it's like, okay, can we just get a fucking sandwich and you not tell me how brilliant you are?
Yeah. Well said. All right, so more about the book specifically now. Still awesome. The Trials and Tribulations of an Egotistical Maniac. Great title. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the third book that you've written. And first of all, I just want to say this one has a great cover as well as title. And I'm sure you've gotten this a lot, but I mean, I'm curious, so I have to ask, what led to making this third book and why?
Well, the first book is about my childhood, and it's like, my life. And then the second one was just the book, because we had a New York Times bestseller. They just wanted us to make another book, and all like, I don't know, like so we made a joke book on how to be awesome, which is, it was really, like, shave your back of your neck hairs and shit. It's pretty stupid. But since then, I got a divorce, and I met somebody else, and sort of came out. When it came to my sexuality, there was a lot more that I didn't know about myself that I was into, and I've really hidden it my whole life because I wasn't sure what it was, and I was definitely pretty sure that I didn't think anyone else wanted to know about that. And then my wife was okay with it, and her friends knew about it. I was like, man, why am I hiding being bi? Like, what is that? Like, like it's bad to be gay or half gay or a quarter gay. I don't want. And then sometimes it would bother me to think that I'm hiding it because I talk all this shit on the radio. Like, I'm not scared to talk about everything that happens in my life, but that there's this one thing you're hiding. So I just thought, die by the sword. I just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna tell people. So I went on the Stern Show and talked about it, and then that felt good. And then people messaged me that were in my position that were hiding and said what a big deal it was to them that I talked about it. So then it was just on after them. I just thought, I don't really care about what anybody else thinks now. I only want to help these people that think that they're so bad for doing some of the things that, it's just who you are, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a big supporter of the gay and lesbian community and the bi and pansexual, whatever you want to label everybody. I just feel like if you are that, if it's consensual adults, I fail to see the problem here, and I feel like anybody that is the same as me should not hide it. So I do kind of rub it in everybody's faces, and that my friend who helped co-write the book, Michael Tully, he was like, look, what you're doing, the stories, the life that you live, I don't think a lot of people know that even happens. Because I didn't know, and I was the guy that in the first book I've been very fortunate with things with my pants off, lots of girls, all kinds of everybody's naked parties, but the guys, they do some crazy stuff, and I felt like it's be fun for other people to know that, and it also might help some people. So this one it's still awesome. But it was sarcastic in the first place. But this one could be debatable for sure. But it's my life. I'm not hiding it.
Right on. Respect for that, man. Respect for that. And so I write every day because that's what I do in MMA. And generally, I like to write pretty long and in-depth stories for people I talk to, like yourself. But despite that, I've always felt like writing a full-on novel is something that would be just so difficult. So maybe it's gotten easier now for you over time, but generally, is it a pretty tough thing to do?
Well, it's not. It's Tully. I tell Tully the stories, and Tully writes it down. And me and Tully have worked with each other for over 10 years, so he knows exactly how I talk. I'm illiterate almost. I've only read like 3 books, but I think the only difference now is reading the first one. I just know how to if I'm going to tell the story, if I can add things that make it funny and more interesting while I'm telling the story, then Tully's going to write it down that way because he knows what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got ourselves an entertaining book because it's really, I want to help people. I'm not like Leonardo. No one's going to fucking buy my book. It's not a big hit. I'm not on Real Housewives. I'm just some dude, that's got a story and it's going to help a couple people. And if people buy it and me and Tully make some money out of it, then everybody wins.
Yeah. Okay. I get that. I know that there's a lot of things you're open about in the book, as you mentioned, with the past experiences, some, maybe darker than others. So I imagine that writing for you, or, making the book, not necessarily literally writing, but it acts like a form of therapy for you, right? Or is that an off assumption?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like the radio show. It's the same thing. That's why the books work, because really I'm just doing my radio show. I mean, when I first started, it was me talking by myself. So when I do the book, it's me talking by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And and then Tully knows that I'm punchy, so he has to ask the questions that trigger the stories, and off we go. But it's to me, to get it out is therapeutic, and sometimes life's so fast, man, especially when you're a guy that just wants to keep achieving things. You never stop and sit in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, you're like, oh my God, I really did do that,
Yeah. And you mentioned it right there. I mean, you're a really busy guy, at least in the sense of that you've done a lot of things and, do a lot of things that keep you busy. So what is it that drives you to, try out so many different types of activities that you do?
Because I'm going to die.
Okay, good one. That's a good answer.
I don't want to not try. I mean, I don't know. If something just sounds absolutely horrific and doesn't seem like I'm going to get anything out of it, then I don't need to try that. But pretty much everything else is on the list.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do stuff. I want to know. I feel like until you do it, you don't really know. Especially when you're a guy that doesn't read a lot of books. I got to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what's up with it. Because sometimes I might think something sucks until I do it. And I'm like, whoa, check that out. So I just try to experience life, man. I'm really trying to get in there. I think, but my little brother passed away when he was 24, and I just felt like since then, I think all the things that he wanted to do, he would have loved to have come to America and seen the things that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So I just always say yes to stuff and do things.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And is there anything you're looking at specifically next for your next big thing?
Well, I'm getting older. I gotta have a knee surgery because I have no PCLs in both knees and no meniscus in my left. So I gotta get some shit on my left knee.
Mm.
So in the meantime, I'm gonna skate a little bit until I get that surgery, and I'm gonna start doing stand up.
Nice.
I tried a few times, but I've never really tried to do it, write down stuff and do it more than one day a month or something.
Yeah.
Because I hear these guys actually practice, and I go, yeah, that makes sense considering everything else I've ever got good at till practice. So I'm looking to do something like that because it's real nerve-wracking and it's a buzz because I can't fight all the time. I've been knocked out riding moto and skateboarding. And my boxing and MMA career, I've been hit a lot. So all the injuries from skateboarding and then doing the MMA thing, boxing my shoulders and shit, things are falling apart. I'm on stem cells all the time. I go get that a lot, but I thought maybe do something where you don't hurt your body as much.
Yeah, less physical.
Yeah, so that one and the radio show. I'm still trying to pitch TV show ideas, and
Cool.
so there's that hustle all the time. Books out, gonna do some stunts now. There's all because I've always got these ideas where I want to run through a bunch of walls on fire, or pretend I'm a magician and escape from a box of snakes, but I don't get out and the snakes bite. I got ideas. I just need a budget, and that's just keep on doing those things until I don't think my body could get bitten by snakes anymore because I'm too old.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll just do radio, and then I'll maybe be on a farm and wear a cowboy hat, something like that.
Perfect. Sounds like you would have fit in with the Jackass crew when they were coming up, man.
It was weird. I was around when those guys were doing that. I was like, man, that makes total sense to me.
Yeah. That's great. What is the worst injury that you've had?
Man, worst injury. I shattered my wrist,
Hmm.
and like my wrist bone span around, broke the bones in my hand, so I had to get a bunch of pins, and I got knocked out at the same time.
Jeez.
But I've broken my arms and my wrists, my shoulders dislocated and separated, all my shoulders, snapped my tailbone off, torn ACLs, MCLs, broke my ankle, broke my feet, been knocked out like 20 times. I guess the worst ones are just when you're younger. You know, you get used to it. Like the first time I ever broke my wrist and my arm and got knocked out, yeah, that was horrific because I was like 16.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get older, you're just like, ah, fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
All this time to recover, right?
Yeah, you're just, you know, you're like, oh man. Especially now, I'd be like, oh my god, I'm gonna get so fat.
Yeah.
That's why I don't want to have that knee surgery. Because the guys that gave me the stem cell in Colombia, they were like, there's only so much we can do.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, get this knee surgery and then get some more stem cell, and you might dodge a knee replacement. I'm like, okay.
If you say so.
Yeah, well, they know more than me.
Yeah. In terms of, I guess, self-inflicted pain, I'm just curious, was the head tattoo painful at all?
Yeah, I mean, that was probably the most pain. I mean, I've had a compound fracture before, so that was probably the most pain I've had.
Mm-hmm.
But the head tattoo was up there.
Yeah.
On the side, it's no big deal, but on the top, and the guy that did it, he's just really heavy-handed. This is just before I really realized it's too late. So
Yeah.
the top part was fucking stupid.
Yeah, I can imagine. But all right, Jason, I think that, I might have kept you a little bit longer than planned to, but last thing I have for you, man, you're the expert when it comes to radio, podcast interview, and all that kind of stuff. So I just got to ask you, did I do all right, man?
Yeah, man, you did better than I would have.
Okay.
So, yeah, you got lots of questions.
Yeah,
That's funny.
Thanks, man. All right.